Welcome to an exclusive tour of a convent. 2 years ago, my fiance and I, we purchased this 18th century convent behind me for €425,000. And for the last 2 years, we have been renovating it. So we're going to go on an exclusive tour and I'm going to show you the entire property. So let's do it. So we're going to start our tour by going through into the chapel, which was built in 1773. So I've got the key, let's open her up. So this chapel is 120 metres square with 9-metre high ceilings, and in the past this convent had a community of nuns living here, and in 2012 they sold the convent and sold it to a local investor who essentially abandoned the building, and over a long period of neglect it has suffered as a consequence. So 2 years ago my fiance and I, we purchased this convent, and ever since we've been renovating and tidying up the garden and just things like that, and it's a big project. So I'm not going to talk too much, this is a little bit of a whistle-stop tour, otherwise the video is going to be 3 hours long. So we've got a lot to see, let's continue. So to my right is the old sacristy, which is on 2 levels, and it's a very beautiful little part of the building. But to my left is what was essentially the new chapel. So after years of neglect and maybe struggling with finances, the nuns no longer use this chapel, and they decided to build a modern, I'm not even sure how to explain it. It's just not very nice at all. We do have big plans for this room. We're currently renovating it, but you'll have to watch the videos to see what we're doing with it, because we're going to continue with the tour. There's a lot to see. There's probably like 300 rooms here, I'm not even sure. So this is a very interesting room. I believe it used to be the reception for the convent. So there was a desk here and there was a button for opening the gate and an interphone for communicating to people who have rung the bell outside. It's quite a nice large room. It needs a lot of work, but we've already stripped it out and sort of back to bare bones. So at some point when we do renovate it, it should be quite easy. So let's continue. So welcome to another interesting part of the convent. So when we first bought this place, this room, you couldn't actually see the fireplace, and it had a bookcase built into it. So when we first got the keys, I pulled all of the library bookcase thingy out and exposed the beautiful fireplace. So this room shouldn't be too hard to renovate, it just needs stripping back to bare bones and sort of starting again. But yeah, it's really nice. Let's continue. So as you can see, there was a lift shaft and a staircase added in the 80s, and this lift needs a little bit of work. It's a little bit outdated. You can see it doesn't actually work at the moment, but I will have it replaced in the future. Yeah, it's a little bit funky, this sort of style, but we will do some work and it will look amazing somehow. So let's continue. So this used to be part of the old refectory where the nuns would have their meals communally. But what I've done is I've split the room into 2 and I'm creating a double height library. So I've put in the stills already and all the floor joists, and we're at the stage now where we are doing all of the stud work to accommodate a library, which I already have. So I bought a library from the 19th century and we're installing it in this room. And it's a really interesting project and it's going to look amazing. So welcome to the dining room. So this was part of the old refectory where the nuns used to eat, and as you can see I have split them into 2 different rooms. It was way too big. I think it was about the same size as the chapel, about 120 metres square. So dining room, library, and you know, it's quite nice to have 2 different rooms rather than just one huge room. It's almost, well, I say almost done, we're just waiting for windows and finishing off the plasterboarding and insulation. All the electrics are done, heating's going in on the 1st of October and things like that. So yeah, it's coming on. So welcome to the hallway, and the hallway is almost done. We're just waiting for the air conditioning to be installed and the back door and the front door to be fitted. It's a beautiful space again. We actually originally discovered this beautiful granite floor below 10 centimeters of concrete. It took a long time to get it up and trying to preserve the original floor. So yeah, it's a really nice room. We're trying to keep as many original features as possible without going too mad. Yeah, let's continue into the kitchen. So welcome to the kitchen, everyone. And this project took about 12 to 13 months from start to finish. And it was a lot of work, from exposing the original ceiling, to digging up the old floor, putting underfloor heating in, to exposing the beautiful fireplace, which was covered in concrete and modern tiles and things like that. And we absolutely love this space. Everything is oak, it's all handmade, and yeah, we love it. So we're sort of going with this theme throughout the convent: quality and big open rooms with, you know, really nice things inside of them. Let's go this way. So now welcome to a quite interesting part of the convent. So to your left is part of the old pantry. And the pantry was once a very large room, but it's been split up into smaller rooms. You can see more of it here. We're currently using this as storing kindling and wood and laths that we've removed from the ceiling. But the pantry is absolutely massive, and it's got 2 stories, and it was designed so when the nuns had all of their vegetables and fruits and things like that, they could process them and store them in a way that they can use them and the products will last. So like jams and fruits and vegetables and things like that they can use throughout the year. Yeah, and on to another interesting part of this building is the original Louis XIV style staircase, which is about 250 years old now, but it's sort of been ruined because at one point there was lino. So lino and oak, they don't match. And they've put in this huge concrete retaining wall, and they had added fire doors as well. So you can't really see that much from that point of view. But when we get around to doing the work, we'll expose it all so you can see all of the beautiful staircase, and it goes up 4 levels into the attic. So like I said, there's a lot of work involved in renovating this staircase, but we will get to it at one point, and it's absolutely beautiful. Try and preserve something like this, which is, it's just a really nice staircase. So like I said, it goes up 4 stories, all the way into the attic, but what I want to show you now is the nuns' sleeping quarters. So welcome to the first floor of the nuns' dormitory, which each room is called a cell. And there's about 42 to 43 cells in total in this building. And we have done quite a lot of work. So we've stripped back to bare bones essentially, because there used to be all of this chipboard stuck to the walls, and they put a terracotta ceiling in. I think it was for fireproofing. But what I will do is show you one of the rooms, and you can see how low the doors are. And they have raised the floor probably by about 10 centimeters. So it wouldn't have been as low in the past, but I'll show you inside one of these rooms. You can see, yeah, very basic linoleum floor, quite large windows. They all have a sink and a mirror and a few plugs. So I believe there would have been just one bed in here, and each nun had their own cell, which is quite interesting. So 40 something cells, quite a lot of nuns. So welcome to the top half of the library project that we're currently working on. So up here will be more bookcases and lots of beautiful natural light coming through, and we've managed to expose again the original ceiling in this room. We just need to insulate and put plasterboard between and plaster it all, but you'll still see the beautiful oak beams like the kitchen and throughout the rest of the convent that we're currently doing. Quite a lot of work to do on this library project still. Still waiting for windows and things like that, but we can't really advance too much in the meantime. So the only thing I've got to do in here is add some more stud work and things like that and sort of tidy the ceiling up. But it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I've always wanted to build something like this, and I never had the opportunity until now. So we have free reign in this building. We can essentially do what we want to do. It's not like in the States or other countries where you need a lot of planning and a lot of approval from the local council and things like that. You literally have free reign within a renovation as long as it's not listed in France. So yeah, you still have to stay to code though, building codes. Let's continue. So we've now essentially almost done a full lap. So you remember the elevator downstairs? Well, this is the first floor, and it also goes up again to the next floor. So what I want to show you now is the old infirmary, and this was one of the first jobs that we ever did. So this infirmary was used for caring for the nuns, and in their old age, it was essentially like a mini hospital. And it's got 6 rooms, bedrooms essentially, and we sort of transform this into an office. So we do YouTube, we do videos every day for this channel, generally Monday to Friday, sometimes on the weekend. So we do a lot of editing, so we spend a lot of time editing in here, and this is where we store all of the camera equipment and things like that. But it's also a great place just to have lunch quickly. So we've got a very small kitchen, which is a bit of a mess. We haven't tidied, by the way. We haven't set this up. So yeah, I'll show you one of the old infirmary rooms. So we were meant to be finishing this office. We have sort of finished it. We just need to do some decorating still. So yeah, essentially there used to be like a hospital bed in here. And if you noticed in the lift shaft, there was a compartment at the back of the lift. And that was for putting, well, people in beds on essentially and taking them downstairs or upstairs. So it did sort of act as a hospital, but not the whole building, only this part. So it's quite interesting. Sometimes a little bit spooky. Yeah, so there's like 6 rooms that are identical to this that need a little bit of TLC, but we don't really use this half. We use mainly this part of the office. So now, I suppose we're gonna go upstairs and I'll show you the rest of the nun cells and some of the attic spaces and interesting parts of the convent. So upstairs we go. So the only issue we have at this convent is during the renovations, a lot of dust in the convent, and it seems to go everywhere at the moment. So we're constantly cleaning, but at the moment every surface is covered in dust. So here we are on the last floor where the lift shaft goes, and through here is the attic. There's actually 2 attics, so this is the first attic and there is one above another part of the building, which is also very, very big. There's not really much to see up here other than the old roof structure and old storage rooms, but there is something I want to show you further down, which is a bell, which we put in the original bell tower. So let's go and have a look at that. So when the nuns sold the convent, they had the chapel deconsecrated, but they also sold literally everything. And here is the bell tower. And when we bought the convent, there was no bell in the bell tower, which was a big shame. But what we managed to do is source a beautiful old bronze bell, and we installed it, and it actually works. So if I just pull it, so that was also one of almost sort of the first jobs that we did, was source a new bell and install it. And it's really nice to have something like that back in a building like this, because imagine over the centuries, the amount of times that was rung. You know, it's quite symbolic for a building like this to have a bell. So yeah, it was a really nice thing to do, a really good project. So we're now going to continue and go and look at more nuns' cells. Welcome to the second floor. So on this floor, there's about 20 more cells, 21, 22, something like that. And they're all identical to the ones downstairs. This part of the building sort of gives me the creeps a little bit, and I don't know why. I don't really believe in ghosts and things like that. But since we bought this building, I've become a believer. And I don't know what it is, it just gives me a strange vibe up here. And when I'm here alone working, I don't come up here. And every now and then there's a funny noise, a door slams. In fact, a door slam on a daily basis here. And it's not because of wind, we don't know what it is. But yeah, it's an interesting part of the building. And then above this floor, there is a huge attic, very similar to the one that we were just in. Yeah, cool. Let's not spend too much time up here, Alex. So there's quite a lot of rooms on this floor. So this convent in total is about 3,000 meters square. So it's quite a large building. And when I first viewed the property, I thought, oh my God, it's huge. But what I didn't take into account is how much money it's going to cost to renovate. And it just has sucked our finances dry. But we're still renovating, we're still continuing. And with the help of this YouTube channel, it is helping a little bit. So up here is the attic. And unfortunately, they've boarded and added this door. But the staircase actually continues up again. So I'll show you, but it might be a little bit dark. So here we are. This is where the staircase continues. You can see the balustrade and the steps continue up. So when we do renovate, we will be able to expose all of this and do a really good job. So imagine you're able to see all the way down to the ground floor. Yeah, it's a little bit dirty up here. It needs a good clean and a good sort out. And you'll see as we go further into the attic, it gets worse. So as you can see, it's, yes, it's a little bit odd up here. All of this insulation that's just been spread out. I think the insulation has been used by animals for bedding. And there's lots of things up here. Old relics and paintings. There's Christ on the cross. There's lots of old panelling, which I imagine used to grace some of the rooms downstairs. But yeah, we won't spend much time up here because it's not very good for the lungs. It all needs clearing out. So we are now in the courtyard of the convent, and this courtyard is about 1,000 meters square. It's quite a large courtyard, and it's really nice to have something like this in the center of a town. So yeah, this was the attic. So above the dormer windows here is the attic we were just in. And then the attic that we first visited is here. You can see the bell tower, which we added the bell to. The office is, or the old infirmary, is this entire floor here. And you can see where the lift shaft sort of comes out of the roof, which is a bit of an eyesore, so we're not sure what to do with that. And we are changing the windows with brand new handmade oak double glazed windows as we go, which is costing a lot of money, but also the same with the doors. The new doors being fitted next week. So over here we have the old garage, and I believe this was sort of a stable at one point. And in there you can see above where there used to be sort of old stalls and things like that on the ground floor. It's quite a large room. It goes all the way across and also upstairs. But in the corner here, we have 7 individual apartments. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 apartments, which is really interesting. So I'll show some of them to you now. They're quite old, but we are renovating them. So let's go. So as you can see, everyone, these are the apartments. Well, you can't actually see, you can just see a building and me walking towards you. But there is an apartment here. This is the access to the 2 apartments that are here. There is an entrance here to 3 apartments, and there's also access to another apartment around the corner. And this is quite a big chunk of the building, surprisingly. We don't really show it too much on the channel, but we have been doing work to some of the apartments. So I'm just going to show you the 2 here quickly, because they're really nice. So welcome to one of the first apartments. So this apartment's currently being worked on. As you can see, it's all been stripped out. It's being redecorated. I think it needs just new floors added, the new bathroom and the new kitchen. And this is a 2-bedroom apartment. It's exactly the same as the one below as well. Yeah, it's really nice. I don't come in here very often, but yeah. It actually looks really nice in here, doesn't it? The colour's great. I love that sort of sage green colour. So it needs a new bathroom and a new kitchen. Very, very nice. So we'll go down and have a look at the other apartment very quickly, and then we'll end this tour. So this apartment is a carbon copy of the one upstairs, which is also being decorated. Yeah, let's not bore you too much, but essentially these two apartments are exactly the same. The one downstairs is really big as well, and there are 4 others. So let's continue with this tour, Alex. Alex is the cameraman, by the way. So at the convent we have about 2 acres of garden, and back in the day the nuns used most of this space for growing their vegetables. And we have an old postcard, an old aerial view of the convent, and all you can see are rows and rows and rows of vegetable patches. So imagine how self-sufficient they were back in the day. I just thought I'd share that with you because, you know, they were probably really self-sufficient and they probably grew everything. A beautiful back view of the convent. So this is probably where we're going to end this tour, everyone. So I thought I'd just mention thank you so much for watching this video, and if you're interested in seeing the renovations here at the convent, we release a video literally every day. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow.